Welcome to the Strangers on the Way podcast. I'm so honored and excited to have today's guest with us. She is a real stranger to me in a lot of ways because I have only met her once. Brittney Tewksbury, welcome to the podcast. We met at a co-ed basketball night in one of our local towns here, and Brittney is the organizer of it. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. I was just super amazed by her. She like created this whole thing for the community, um, just from an idea, which is awesome. But Brittney, would you go ahead and share a little bit about who you are, with our listeners as we get started?
Yeah, and thanks again for having me. It's funny because we are kind of strangers, but immediately just I gravitated towards you. So thanks again.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm Brittany. I live in the local area. I've been here for about 2 years. I grew up near O'Hare and spent most of my life in Illinois. Um, a little bit of a transitional period about myself. I was previously married um, for about 5 years and went through a transitional phase that got me to where I am today. And right now, my life is with my husband, our dog, and our two littles, a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And life has just really transformed night and day from way back then. But yeah, from getting there to here, I did some reflection and moved out to Colorado and spent about 5 years out there. That's where I met my now husband. Moved across the state out there, not knowing anyone, got a job, and just really wanted to explore and kind of reset definitions for love, success, and just really kind of work on myself. And yeah, I couldn't be happier settling in the town and yeah, started a basketball community for adults because I love sports, I love activity, and I love bringing people together that have similar interests and just getting out of the house, getting off our screens, getting in person, and getting a good sweat in. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love it. So good. I feel like there's so much here. I would love to hear why you picked Colorado.
Yeah, it's a great question. I knew after my divorce, I knew I wanted to get out of Illinois and just kind of explore because I hadn't left the state at all, besides, some vacations. So I actually planned some trips. I went to California. I met with some companies out there just to kind of get a feel. I went to Washington, see Seattle, and then I went to Colorado. And I was really just trying to listen to my instinct and what felt like home and where I felt the most myself because I was trying to reconnect with myself after such a big shift in my life. And Colorado, honestly, it just spoke to me. I will never forget the moment. I was in Colorado Springs at Gardens of the Gods, and I was hiking there with my mom. And we were just watching the sun coming down over the beautiful mountains, and I was like, this is it. And I told her, like, I'm moving. She was not very happy, to many tears, but she knew it was a long time coming that I just needed this for myself in that period of time. And yeah, once I made that decision, I talked to work, asked if I could work remotely. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. This was pre-COVID. So I found a job, stayed in the fitness industry, and got a job in Boulder, moved to Denver, and didn't know a person, and just, yeah, started a new chapter.
Wow. What did you do the first like few weeks? How did you build community and
Yeah.
an entirely new place?
Well, honestly, the mountains drew me there. That like spoke to my soul. And I wanted to meet other people that were there for a similar reason, which is not too hard to find in a mountain town. But I did actually seek out some social athletic clubs. So there were some run clubs. I was kind of in the heart of the city, knowing that that's where I could meet the most people and then venture out to the mountains on the weekends. So I went to run clubs. I am not a runner, I wouldn't say. Maybe I am now. I don't know. But I met a lot of people that like-minded people that came to Colorado to explore and meet similar people and exercise and just get those endorphins. And so that's kind of where I started. I also started a meetup. I had never done that before, but again, I wanted to find people that wanted to go hiking and go snowshoeing and wasn't sure where to start. So I created a meetup, and the first night of that was just to meet up at a local bar and just get to know people and see what they were interested in. And 60 people showed up.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was just floored. I was like, wow, I am not alone in trying to meet like-minded people. And we started doing runs, we started doing hikes, we started just getting together on a regular basis, and we'd kind of branch out based on different interests. So some were interested in rock climbing, and we just kind of formed these little groups around it. Um, and then so I had that, and then I actually, my friend from back in Illinois, she was part of this run club in California, and they started popping those up around different major cities across the US, and they didn't have one in Denver. And because I really like starting communities and bringing people together, I reached out to them and asked if I could kick off their one in Denver, and they were really interested in expanding. And so I ended up kind of putting my feelers out to these run clubs and kicked that off during COVID when everyone was locked down, and I still had a small amount of folks I knew at that point. And yeah, we had a solid like 15 people plus a week, twice a week actually. Um, I ran it with, ironically, a former basketball teammate from high school. She moved out to Denver too. We met up, and we kind of, she helped coach the program with me. And yeah, met a lot of great friends that we did some camping trips, and yeah, just really surrounded myself with just getting to know myself through these activities, and just learning from the people around me. But it was amazing.
Cool. Okay, I'm just like so in awe because obviously you start things. Like you build, you start, you create. Have you always been like this since you were little, or like is it just like a value that you have? And um yeah, like how did this come to be?
I think part of it, so there's two parts. One is I've always been an athlete since I was very young, basketball especially, but I loved team sports. I love being around athletes. I love learning. I love being competitive. So I think that has always stayed with me since I was a little girl. And then the other part, selfishly, is I want to find something that I want to do, and I want to bring others around me, because honestly, I don't love doing things alone. Of course, there's certain aspects of life where I need to kind of reboot and be by myself, but when it comes to physical activity, I love surrounding myself with people. So selfishly, I'm like, okay, I want to play basketball twice a week, and I'm sure there's other adults that want to play. And so let's see what happens and try it out. So I think it kind of blends the two aspects of my life that are really meaningful and kind of make me who I am. And now I get to share it with others. And what has the gift of all of that is just seeing other people get really excited about the community that's being built
Mhm.
and saying, wow, like we never had this, or thank you so much for putting this together. And truly it is to like bring people together.
Mhm.
The aftermath of that, whether it becomes a business, which I've really never done, but that's kind of the cherry on top. But it truly is to get those reactions and see people leaving feeling fulfilled, and get to just um, kind of disconnect for a couple hours, and just focus on the flow state of playing a sport. So.
So good. Have you seen people really connect or find friendships through these groups?
It seems like it. Um, I really feel, I mean, we've been doing it for about 7 months now, and it's funny because we all have inside jokes now. We can laugh at each other. When at the beginning, nobody knew anyone unless you brought, a sibling or a friend, but most of us didn't know each other. We know each other by first name. We like if someone missed a game, we're asking what's going on. We're learning about family life or personal life. And I feel like I'm not quite sure outside of it, but we are spending 2 nights a week or 2 days a week together. But I have seen some folks go to a bar after and get a drink, or, there's a volleyball thing like next month. Do you want to be on my team? So I definitely see familiarity within the group, and it's become really a good time on top of just getting a game in. So
Oh, so fun. Yeah, could you share about FCC Hoops? So it's co-ed, which I think is so cool. I don't know too many adult leagues that are co-ed. Could you share like how you yeah created this as you moved back
yeah,
to Illinois?
yeah. So I was looking for some groups because being new to this area, similar to Denver, I wanted to like see what was available. And basketball is a tougher sport to find, especially as a older woman. And so I started posting in like neighborhood Facebook groups asking like, hey, where's their pickup? Or where can I get in a game? Because I really do like pickup games. Leagues are just a little bit more, commitment and a little too structured for my first, choice. And there really wasn't anything except like an hour and a half, 2 hours away, which is not going to happen with a 1 and 2 year old. So yeah, I just kind of put it out there in the Facebook groups, just saying, hey, if I were to start an adult basketball group, who would be interested? And, 60, 70, 80 people started commenting, liking. So I was like, okay, I guess, people would actually join this. And the reason why I did co-ed is, again, two reasons. Growing up, I was in a lot of co-ed leagues. My dad always had me playing with the guys and just adding another level of competition. So I'm very familiar with that space. And also, again, at um, my age and women, not too many play basketball. So to get a full group to play 5-on-5 with some subs at minimum would be really difficult, especially since we're pretty on the outskirts of the city. So I wanted to make it co-ed and know that that would help the numbers and just get a solid, consistent group, which is what I was looking for. So yeah, I was kind of the one and only woman for a while.
You go, girl.
Some girls kind of trickled in and out, and now I think we have about four that consistently come, which is great. I love seeing more women kind of step out their comfort zone, and I try to really reach out if I see someone liking our photos in the Facebook group, or I put out a little survey for folks, like if they haven't come, like why haven't they? And just a lot of it is that nervousness of just like going and not knowing the level. So I try to just be a friendly face, ask if they have any questions, and just make sure they feel comfortable. And it's more about being a community than being overly competitive. And I feel like we've really gotten to a good group, like good attitudes, competitive enough games, but not where, you know, people never come back because of, it's too serious. So, and that's really what I was hoping for is a nice balance between the two.
So good. And so, had you done anything like this prior, or you just started connecting with gyms and schools?
Yeah, I had no idea. I started calling I actually made the group before I had a gym.
Love it.
So I started, like we were saying, build the bus while you're driving it.
Yeah.
So I got a Facebook group going. I got a bunch of people in there and just said, I'm working on getting a gym booked. So called around the area, getting to know, what even was in the area. And there are some gyms that are in the community that just don't rent out. They just keep it open to the group. And I really was looking for something specific because if you find an open gym, there's no there's no guarantee that enough people will show up. There's no guarantee it's the right level of play. It might be too hard, it might be too beginner. And again, that consistency just isn't there. So I just wanted a space where we knew how many people were going to be there. I could have a little bit more control of how the games were formatted and everything. Um, so I ended up calling some of the schools, and you have to get this amateur sport insurance, you have to get AED and CPR certified, you have to get all this stuff. So I just kind of went down the checklist and I purchased it and got access to being able to schedule with the local schools, middle schools, high schools. And now, yeah, I have a really good relationship with those facilities, and we're so grateful because without them, this could not happen. So we got that rolling, and each game, each week, I've kind of learned what people like, what people don't like, and I feel like we have a really solid rhythm on how people sign up, how we run the games, how many points we play to, and yeah, we even got some swag now. So yeah, it's been cool to see it slowly grow over time.
Yeah, it was so neat to be a part of it because I love basketball and I was in a women's league last fall, but it was like an hour drive. And so I was like, how is it going to be playing with the men, the men? And it was fast. I was like, oh, they're fast. But it was so fun. Everyone was so kind and like very I would say skilled. But it was so nice to be on the court again. And yeah, I just love how you run it, and it's so neat that you just created it out of nothing. Like I love it, and then you're creating this space for people to.
One thing, well, it's funny because we all started, day one, we were all kind of coming out of the woodwork like, man, it's been 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years.
Yep.
We all started slow, and then as we kept going, that endurance kind of kicks in, and then new folks would come in and push us even more, like new younger kids. So yeah, it's been really cool. And I lived in the city in Bucktown area for a year. That was the first time I ever lived alone actually ever, um, after the divorce. And I did find a volleyball group that ran a similar way, that kind of like all of these different experiences kind of like helped me form my vision. And so something from them, it was similar where it was you would just show up, you pay the fee, you show up, and then you get a card to see what team you're on. And I loved that because it was always random. It kept things fresh. It kept things you weren't wasting time like who's on what team. And so that's just one example, but like joining all of these groups, leading different groups along the way kind of helped me feel a little more confident in like knowing what people are expecting and things like that. But yeah, it's been a huge part of my life. And I'm grateful that I get to keep sports as a big aspect. So, and hopefully my kids can see that as they grow older, and hopefully that could be some inspiration or just yeah, see what's possible.
So cool. Oh, I just love it. It is amazing, yeah, especially team sports as you get older, because for a lot of people, it's such a big part of your life for a long time. And then it's just neat that you've created space for it to continue. Ah,
Yeah, and it's hard to make friends as adults. So if you can go into friendships with a common ground,
yeah.
it really, really is kind of the first step. And yeah, I'd say I've made some really good friends from this, just off of basketball. It's been cool.
I love it. It's so neat. And there might be some other sports coming down the line. Is it too early to tell? But
Yeah, again, selfishly, I love volleyball. That's kind of my second love. So I'd love to get into that. We actually, all the gyms were closed for 4th of July. So we did a sand volleyball day and tried to test the waters with that, and everyone seemed to have a great time. And pickleball seems to be like a lower entry sport for other folks that want to get into athletics and socialize a little bit. And I have some neighbors and friends that would do that. So yeah, we'll see where it takes us. Probably more when the weather gets a little bit cooler. But yeah, I'd love to grow this and really make it something even more than it is today.
it's so awesome. I love too how you were saying you do surveys and seek feedback, and that seems so, your heart seems so like wanting it to be for everyone. And yeah, you're a good leader.
Thank you. Yeah, I want people to walk away wanting to come back. That is the goal, and hopefully it's fulfilling something that's missing in their week. And yeah, I feel very honored to be part of it.
It's so cool. I love it. Well, I love making the podcast practical, and I'd love to take it back to kind of your transition season. I think obviously I assume the transition was full of a lot of grief, and then
Mhm.
you're like discovering like a new way of life and then who you are and in the new state. For people that might find themselves like in a season like that, any wisdom that you gleaned, um, in that process?
That's a great question. I think it was very heavy in the moment. It was never what I envisioned for myself, which I'm sure many people would share that. And truly, I think it's a moment that I really needed to take a pause and work on myself. Um, I really was intentional about not rushing into things, not rushing into finding someone to fill this new hole,
Mm,
or just not do the work and look internally because it's two people in a relationship, and we don't need to get into the details, but um, I was part of what ended as, a divorce, and I needed to kind of reflect on that. And I feel like I lost myself in it. I wasn't sure who I was at the end, and I really wanted to take the next best step forward. Um, and that's why I wanted to kind of think a little bit differently. A lot of people that live in Illinois stay in Illinois, at least my family and friends. And I wanted to kind of challenge that and say, I know that's expected of me, but what does Brittany want? Who
mm,
is Brittany? And, we have social media and society telling us what beauty is and what success is. And I had some pretty low self-esteem, and I really wanted to build that up and just love myself, and while defining who I am and redefining love and success and beauty. And so I really took that seriously. And so if you are in that transition period, I feel like that was so healthy for me to just, I'm not saying it was easy,
mhm,
it is a lot of grief and a lot of emotion, but I really wanted to learn from it, and doing that work, it made me a better person and loved myself in a way that I could attract a person that was ready to love me.
mm.
Because without, as cliche as it is, like you have to love yourself for someone else to love you. And I saw that firsthand. And now I'm with my husband, who is the most amazing man. I never even knew this was an option, right? Like this type of relationship, I just never imagined it. And so that work on myself just was so healing and just introduced me to so many new things I didn't even have exposure to before, and learned what I loved, learned more what I didn't love, and led me to this life and this family that where I am now, and I just could not be happier. So yeah, that transition, I would do it over again in a heartbeat, to get to where I am. And I do feel like challenges in life like kind of make you stronger, and you have you have a few options in your court on how to deal with it. Surrounding yourself with people to lift you up is also an
Hmm.
important thing. So
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Was there anything during that time that really helped you love yourself?
Um, I think honestly, therapy was very
Mhm.
helpful to kind of mirror my thoughts about myself and just show like how good I actually am. And it was so hard for me to see because I didn't get that. My parents were so loving, and I got a lot of praise growing up. And I think I always kind of expected that externally.
Mm.
And so when I was in a relationship where I wasn't getting that, it just kind of like started to chip away at myself. And I needed to be my biggest cheerleader.
Mm.
And so when I would talk about myself and I was so hard on myself, when I had someone that was unbiased and, could kind of coach me through that and mirror what I was saying, I was kind of like in shock. Like,
Mhm.
wow, I am being mean, and
Mhm.
part of that therapy and learning was, picturing yourself as a young child. And at the time I didn't have kids, but I she even had me get a picture of myself as a little girl and asking like, how would you talk to her? And it's or how would you talk to a friend? We've all heard that. And I think that just kind of really put things in perspective and like, why am I beating myself up? Like, I'm a good person. I know that now, and it was just really hard for me to see that then. But therapy and just starting to trust myself again, like moving to Colorado. Like I made that decision and I followed through. I found a job out there. I found an apartment. Like I did that all on my own, and I was so happy with that decision. And then that just grew my intuition, my trust with myself, and just built and built and built over time to like get to where I'm at, where I could stand on solid ground and be like, yes, like I am strong and I am this and I am that. And um, so you have to be really intentional and really self-aware to kind of build on it because it's not just a one time,
Right.
okay, now I know all the things and I'm in a good place. It does take a lot of work, but so worth it.
Hmm. Oh, so good. Say there's a younger girl listening today, what would you, and she just, I think honestly, I think it's tough with everything, even social media, like that a lot of people have this. What would you say to someone maybe a little younger who is in that spot where they haven't had therapy yet or um are just struggling with those, yeah, difficult thoughts?
The negative
Yeah.
thoughts. Um, Honestly, I think I'm a very visual person, and I think the picture of myself as a little girl like was very helpful. I kind of had it in just like my notebook, and I just see it all the time, or like on the back of your phone, your background of the phone, and I'd see her, and it would just be this like reminder, right, to like be gentle, be
Yeah.
nice. Um, and like when you look in the mirror, like instead of just immediately criticizing yourself, like say something good. What are you grateful? My dad always says gratitude. For any negative feeling, any anxiety, like if you kind of ground yourself with gratitude, it kind of brings you back to reality. Um, So it kind of knocks you out of that spiral.
Yeah.
And then really surrounding yourself with people that lift you up. I think I was in a pretty toxic relationship and it wasn't lifting me up. Whether that was a friendship or a romantic relationship, I think the people around you that love you for who you are is going to also help build on that. But it really starts within. It really does. And the more you can kind of pause and reflect and find the good, um, the more you can push away that negativity. And yeah, it's hard when you're young and you're in that because everything is so much more important on how what people think and what people say, and I was definitely in that world. I took rejection so hard. Like everything, my self-worth was based on what I thought other people thought. So
Yeah.
I had all these stories and yeah, if I could be back there with what I know now, I just feel like I had to really spend that time to like nurture myself. And I never even, that never crossed my mind.
Yeah. Mm, so powerful. I love where you are now too. Just like, yeah, what you've walked through to get to this place.
Yeah, and I'm hoping the experience, I have a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old daughter. And I'm really hoping the trials and tribulations I went through can help me show her the importance of self-love
Hmm.
and acceptance for exactly who she is. And I'm nervous because I remember where I was and I hope that I can really help guide her, but at the end of the day, it will be up to her. And she's so young, but I'm starting to train myself to like make sure I'm very gentle with her, of course, like she's
Yeah.
2. But just even start practicing, right? Like accepting her for who she is. She's quirky, she's demanding, she's hilarious, and like loving her for exactly that is something that I really, really want to put at the forefront of my parenting. And I'm just very hopeful that she comes out on the other side. So, but that is something that I hope to pass on going through all of this.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I love how intentional you are.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like, it really is. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a gift. Thank you
Yeah.
for showing us a little bit of who you are, and thank you for all the things that you started to create community and all these different spaces. I feel like wherever you are, I bet you'll just create communities for your whole life, which the world needs. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
Well, thanks for being part of it. I'm so
yeah,
glad you showed up and let us hear.
so fun. Thanks, Brittany.